I think we're going to start by showing you one of the videos.
Oh yeah, great.
Yeah, should we do that? A question, how many people have heard of Soul Pancake? Yeah?
That's good.
Okay. It'd be weird if you were here.
Soul Pancake, subscribe!
Which you should if you haven't subscribed.
That's the first of many pitches this evening for you to subscribe.
I'm Georgia. Nice to meet you guys.
And I'm Martin. Nice to meet you.
Thank you so much for having us here to talk to you. We're really excited.
Yeah, really excited. So I guess we'll say what we do. Do you want to?
Yeah, so I'm Soul Pancake's channel manager, which usually needs some explanation. That basically means that I manage our YouTube channel. I oversee everything from the development of new YouTube shows to I press upload every single day at 4 o'clock and go live with the video. So yeah, every part of the process between that.
And just to keep things confusing, I don't actually work for Soul Pancake. I work for another company called Dirty Robber. We started about the same time as Soul Pancake, and we've handled the majority of their post-production, and I've directed a bunch of commercials and little things for them along the way. I'm probably the guy I've sort of watched the entire Soul Pancake explosion from those tiny little videos, sort of 3-minute little things when none of us really knew what we were doing, and we were pushing all the wrong buttons to where they are now. And that's kind of what we want to talk about is where Soul Pancake came from. We're going to start with that. The very initial, it's very appropriate to the Annenberg. The very initial foundation of Soul Pancake was a website. It was a place to discuss the big ideas. Was the initial impetus. It was founded by Rainn Wilson with some of his friends. And I met them at the time at which the website had been very successful and the book had been very successful. They've totally cross-platform. And they had just started making video content for Oprah. That was the first thing that we made together. It was called Heart Attack. It was a series of 6 different little videos on different topics. That was the topic of love. And we're trying to find 2, 3, 4-minute ways to inspire the emotion that we were going for. Now the YouTube, back then that was the very beginnings of the YouTube channel. And you want to talk a little bit about where it's at now?
Yeah, so we produced some short form content for Oprah, and at the time YouTube was basically going around to a lot of creators and investing money in producing high quality content for YouTube. So I don't know if you guys are familiar with when that happened, but they basically went to a lot of people and said, make high quality videos for us, put them on your YouTube channel, and we'll make an investment in this partnership. So Soul Pancake was one of those channels a year ago. So we started making YouTube videos, and part of what we had to do with YouTube was actually upload videos 5 days a week, which is a lot of videos to make, especially given the production value of something like our street stunt. So what we started to do is basically produce some shows internally and then also work with really talented creators who fit with Soul Pancake's message of spreading positivity, answering life's big questions. So we started to kind of see a roster of shows on our channel that we would upload every week or every month. Rain has a show called Metaphysical Milkshake. We did a show called Art Attack. A show called Sidewalk Sessions that talks about music. So we've basically just been churning out videos for the past year. And I actually have a couple slides to... So this was actually last year when we did our first drive to get 5,000 subscribers on YouTube. I like this video a lot, and I like the screenshots, obviously a little bit funny, but I like this a lot because it shows that just a year ago we were asking our audience to hit 5,000 with us. Now we've hit 677,000. So in over a year, we've definitely grown into being a big audience.
And it's it's an exciting, as I'm sure you all know, it's an exciting place to be. Like, no one really understands what the possibilities are. It's very much a Wild West, very much a frontier. The tools required to make the content that we churn out 5 days a week, every single one of you have. But obviously there's Adobe software, but even simpler than that. I mean, you can make, you all know that the best, most engaging YouTube content is almost never necessarily the most complicated or high production value. It can be cheap, quick, and good, which is can make it difficult to make a living from it. But figuring that out is the trick, and that's what we've been working on.
And when we started making videos, no one on the team had made videos before. Like, this was a totally new thing. So we basically had a book and had a feeling and an emotion that we knew we wanted to focus on, and then the team basically had to say, what does this look like in video content, and what does it look like 5 days a week for a year?
Yeah, when the team came in to our offices, because I went to the film school here. I was a graduate student here a while ago. And when they came in, they saw the website, which was amazing, and the book, which was completely adorable, and they just were brimming with enthusiasm and self-belief, and absolutely no technical knowledge. And that was not much more than 2 years ago when they walked in. And so totally self-taught, autodidact. Using the Adobe stuff, gone all the way to now doing TV shows for MTV and for the Oprah Network in that time span, which shows you how flexible the space is these days. You can get access to these things incredibly quickly with the right approach. And that's kind of what we're going to talk a little bit about, is what the Soul Pancake approach is. So to tell a little story, so Google gave money to Soul Pancake. They went and pitched on it and said, we're going to make all these videos, we're going to do this. They showed a few of these and they got it. And then for a year they were trying to get subscribers doing videos like this. And then they had an overnight sensation, which some of you may or may not have heard of. This was the first video that I'd ever worked on that my mum posted on my Facebook.
The world needs to stop being boring. Yeah, you. Boring is easy. Everybody can be boring, but you're gooder than that. Life is not a game, people. Life isn't a cereal either. Well, it is a cereal. And if life is a game, aren't we all on the same team? I mean, really, right? I'm on your team, be on my team. This is life, people. You got air coming through your nose. You got heartbeat. That means it's time to do something. A poem. Two roads diverged in the woods, and I took the road less traveled. It hurt, man! Really bad. Rocks, thorns, and glass. My parts broke. Wah! Not cool, Robert Frost. But what if there really were two paths? I want to be the one that leads to awesome. It's like that dude Journey said, don't stop believing unless you dream stupid. Then you should get a better dream. I think that's how it goes. Get a better dream and keep going. Keep going, keep going, and keep going. Will Michael Jordan have quit? Well, he didn't quit. No, he retired. Yeah, yes, he retired. But before that, in high school, what if he quit when he didn't make the team? He would have never made Space Jam. And I love Space Jam. What will be your Space Jam? What will you create will make the world awesome? Nothing if you keep sitting there. That's why I'm talking to you today. This is your time. This is my time. It's our time. We can make every day better for each other. If we're all on the same team, let's start acting like it. We got work to do. We can cry about it, or we can dance about it. We were made to be awesome. Let's get out there. I don't know everything. I'm just a kid. But I do know this. So everybody's doing to give the world a reason to dance. So get to it. You've just been pep talked. Create something that will make the world awesome. Play ball. Oh, hi everybody. We're all working hard to make this an awesome year for other people. And you guys are doing it. You've been super encouraging to me, so I want to return the favor. Who you know who needs some encouragement? Pass this pep talk along, and let's get the whole world to dance. I'm dedicating this video today to my friend Gabby. She's a cool kid, she likes pancakes, and she's fighting cancer like a boss. And to all you watching, who encourages you? Send them this video and let them know. So get to it. Bye.
So Pancake, subscribe.
Not cool, Robert Frost.
Awesome.
Thank you.
So before we kind of get into Kid President, how many of you have seen that video before? Okay, cool. How many of you subscribe to YouTube channels? Okay, cool. Just wanted to get a sense of, what kind of a YouTube audience we have.
Yeah. And obviously that video was the first one that went truly viral, way past what we could have hoped for. Sort of awesome experience of being on Facebook and just watching people that you haven't seen since high school in England posting it and tagging their mums was very exciting. But the story behind that and the reason we chose to focus that one isn't so much that it was a sort of smash hit, but what it took to get that smash hit. Has anybody seen any other Kid President videos? Yeah. Do you want to talk
Less
about?
hands, yeah.
Less hands. Do you want to talk about what went into that?
Yeah, absolutely. So something that was really interesting for me when I joined Soul Pancake was this was actually Kid President's 16th video that they did. And that's Brad and Robbie. They are the co-creators of Kid President, and it's basically just the two of them that do the show together. So they posted 15 videos on Soul Pancake that all did fine, but not very well, given that we're judging our metric in terms of how many views we're getting. So the 16th video was Pep Talk. And strategically, Pep Talk was actually posted right around the Super Bowl, which I think is really interesting when we look at the types of things we make and why they go viral. But this was a really special one because they continued to stick to making these videos and seeing what would work and working with the audience. But it was not the first one.
Yeah, and what's fascinating as well from our point of view is that, we churned out 5 days a week for a year, more than a year by the time this one came along. This content, refining, learning, getting better, figuring out our audience, who we would be, how people, what people responded to before we got something that was a sort of overnight hit. I mean, that classic story that it took us a long time to truly understand the world of YouTube and figure it out. And this obviously changed things significantly for us, because once you have this level of exposure with a single character, you get a lot of access in other areas, and other shows get get interest as well. Shows that are good unto themselves, but don't necessarily have the ability to get easy notice. So that helped enormously.
Yeah.
And do you want to talk about like what the impact it had on
Yeah,
this?
I mean, definitely. So I think the interesting thing too is that when you have a video go viral, like this video has now hit basically 30 million views, which is awesome, 29 million. We still, there's not a lot of advertising revenue coming in from YouTube yet. So it's not like this video suddenly, let Soul Pancake stay alive for the next year. But what it did do is open up a lot of opportunities for us in terms of a few weeks later, I guess maybe a month later, Robbie was with the real president.
Has anybody seen that video? He is adorably nervous.
And I think the really cool thing about that is basically what we figured out was that we had a new brand and a new voice for the channel, and it was personality driven. So it gave our audience someone that they could really connect with, and it really pushed our subscribers to where we are now, and it got people to come back and really recognize who we are. Seeing Pep Talk was actually how I discovered Soul Pancake and fell in love with their videos. So that's where I began.
And obviously, part of the truth of YouTube channels and earning a living from digital media is that it's also new. No one really knows how to monetize it. So I'm sure most of people have heard of like Make a Studio and like these other places that sort of make a living in this space. It's extremely hard. It's extremely hard to monetize it because it's so new. Everyone says it's sort of destroying traditional media, but not by any salary metric yet. I think obviously it's the future of distribution, but it's certainly not the present of getting paid. And one thing that's extremely interesting to me is the degree in which success in this sphere right now is extremely hot currency with the gatekeepers of traditional media and traditional budgets and television, film, advertising, that all of those worlds. We've been actively sought because of the ability to generate content like this, which doesn't really have a significant monetary value. This may or may not be interesting. I'm not sure how to, but this is of interest to me, so I'm just going to explain that. It's a lot of times there's a sort of sense of, how am I going to make a living doing this? How am I going to, okay, that's great. I got a video that got 300,000 hits. That took an immense amount of work. So what? I didn't make I made $480 off of it. What Soul Pancake has done and proven is that not like if you do that consistently, if you aim for this pyramid every time, you're going to miss it like quite a lot. This pyramid is the impossible one, right? Everyone knows this. You learn this. You can have 2 of the 3, and the sort of YouTube market is no. We would like all 3, please. You have to deliver 5 times a week for nothing, and it needs to be better than what everybody else is making because you've got. You need it on the blogs, yeah. You need it out there, you need people's eyes on it. What's fascinating is if you do strike that, when you do hit it, all the traditional gateways are interested because everybody recognizes that this is the distribution model of the future, even though it's not the current financial model system. So one thing that is fascinating when you get out there, when you're hungry, when you're passionate, when you've just finished this and you know this place and you know how to use every single one of these tools and every single part of this thing, is to create, to make, to not allow visions of where it's supposed to take you to get in between you and making things. When we started making these things, they were basically, I wouldn't say they cost us money, but they pretty close. I should stop myself swearing. Pretty close, but they didn't stop. They never stopped. We kept making and kept making and kept making, and that I think is the essence of what makes Soul Pancake special. Is there's a completely passionate and almost religious fervor about continuing to be creative every single day, and we have a deliverable on a YouTube project every single day. And sometimes it's difficult to see the immediate value of this one, that you make it and 6,000 people watch it and you're like, come on. But then you make one and 30 million people watch it. And it's difficult almost impossible to know before you set out to make it, which one's which.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely, and I think the thing, that's really interesting about Pep Talk and the fact that they made all of these videos before we had the viral hit is that if you keep making content on YouTube, if you're consistent with how often that you upload, your audience, you will slowly build an audience, and it takes time, but a lot of it is consistency, and I think that's one thing that we really had an advantage uploading 5 days a week, because there's so many videos on YouTube and so many people that are putting up great videos, and a lot of them aren't getting seen. So if you can continue to remind your audience every single week to watch your videos and to share them and to subscribe to your channel, you're going to slowly build an audience. And also looking at other things that really work in online media, tentpole events around the Super Bowl. At the end of the video, I love, because he says specifically, share this with someone who needs a pep talk. To me, I'm always looking at, with all of our shows, what's that one actionable thing we're giving our audience at the end of the video that's making them go to Facebook, go to Twitter, and actually share it? Why do we share stuff? Because ultimately, what we want to do and what everyone wants to do is to try to have a voice, and in order to build an audience, you can't just do it alone. You really do need your audience to feel like they're a part of your community, and they're sharing your videos with you.
A few more videos. I mean, one thing I'm really interested in about being here today is what you guys might want to know from us. So I'm going to give you a few more videos about what we do. I mean, one of the, part of the reason we're here today is the Creative Cloud, and we want to just touch on it. Because both the Soul Pancake facility and Dirty Robber, where we do the TV shows and where we do the bigger things, everybody's Creative Cloud, because it is incredibly fast, and it is very intuitive once you know it. And as one thing that's been fascinating is the same team of people have managed to go from these tiny little videos all the way up to managing this. We just did a TV show for MTV. We took all the way through to delivery, and all on the platform. Do we want to talk about technical stuff? Do you guys interested in the technical stuff? Yeah? Yeah? All right. All right, so what's amazing about the way the Creative Cloud works right now, the key thing that helps us is no transcoding. The key victory that Adobe did that made it the key in this space where you have to churn out content all day, every day, is whatever format you shoot it on, and people shoot everything on anything these days, you can throw it all together and get going. On bigger shows, if you have to transcode all your footage, that's a day, maybe two, before you can even start prepping anything. When you shoot on Saturday and it has to be online on Tuesday, you can't. That's simply not possible. And so, Creative Cloud, and Premiere in particular, really revolutionized the speed with which content could go from being shot to being delivered. It sort of helped that Final Cut imploded at the same time in terms of complete victory. But it's the integrated systems, the fact that you can switch it back and forward between all the different programs also is obviously super helpful. We just delivered a job that had 280 effect shots, and just the RAN system tripping in older programs would have cost us days and days and days, which we didn't do. So going back to that pyramid that everybody wants all three of, it helps you go fast. It really does, and it's incredibly stable. Unless it's 4 o'clock in the morning and you really need it to render. But yeah, want to talk more about that?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I think the thing too that we see a lot on YouTube is we have to work with really small teams. Like Brad and Robbie, it's really just the two of them. And to me, that kind of blows my mind. I went to film school and I probably made 5 videos total, and I wouldn't show any of you any of them, maybe one. And in my mind, like looking at how much content we churn out and how much we learn with each video that we make, I wish I would have known that a little bit earlier. Just kind of understand that you can grow with the space these days, and because we all have access to these tools, you can kind of learn as you go. You can have your content get better, and you can still then get 30 million views and meet the president. It does happen, and no one's looking back to your first video to be like, oh, what happened with that one? I think it's a different landscape now. So being able to try new things is
you
really important.
You learn in public these days.
Yeah, exactly. And there's really no reason why we can't all know how to use all of these tools. I started as an editor. I used all of this software, and now, although I'm not editing for my job at Soul Pancake, we use these tools all the time. I mean, whether it's through adding text and graphics over our YouTube videos and building things in Photoshop, it just goes on and on.
How many people in here feel they could edit something if they had to? Yeah, right? It's so integral. Like part of what makes the place so successful and keeps going things through is everybody is basically some sort of generalist. Basically these days, like as you move through your career, there's the push towards specialization is very high. But when you get out of the gate, the need to be able to put it into color and then take it and do a sound pass and get it back, and please God know how to upload to YouTube so that it doesn't look like crap, it's an integral part of what makes a team successful. And one of the things that Soul Pancake's been very good at doing is generating just a large base of talented, committed, dedicated individuals. Like it's a great. What's one of the things that's wonderful is you can, like when I finished film school, it felt a bit like there was this sort of inevitable black hole of having to go out there and meet people and understand the marketplace before you could actually be allowed to make anything. There's no allowed anymore. Like people come to Soul Pancake and Georgia will talk about the process of that and pitch shows which go on, and then some of them have led on to much bigger things. And that's the tools are there right now. It really isn't, and you don't even need much from Soul Pancake if there's if you're two guys with a camera and a cute kid that looks a bit like Obama and some good jokes, you can very, very big things can happen for you, and it's been an extremely exciting run for them. By just getting out and doing it. Yeah,
you don't need to worry about how anymore, right? And I think that's something at Soul Pancake that we can really focus on, the emotion and the feeling with all of our shows and all of the new shows that come in, and we get pitches all the time from people who want to work with us and see their stuff on our channel, and we always come back to this same idea of the heart, what's giving you that burning feeling when you're watching it. And I don't think that it would be possible to do that if we were a big TV network. I don't, I mean, as a YouTube channel manager, I'm definitely, that's where I'm rooting for, but when you work in TV, there's a lot of people above you, there's a lot of people that are delaying things, and pilot processes are slow and they're long, and although you can post a video and maybe only 500 people see it, 1,000 people see it, your audience is going to grow, and it's going to grow with you, which I think is really cool because it also gives us the opportunity to be able to adjust in terms of what our audience wants. Those 15 Kid President videos, the team could basically look at them and say, how can we change these things? What do people really want to see? What are they going to share? What do they want to watch? What's going to give them that feeling?
Yeah, and the old model is people would buy audiences, right? You market for audiences. You make sure that on every bus, on every plane, in between every TV show, there's an advert saying, watch my thing, be part of my experience. Whereas now, this groundswell, this route where we ask for subscribers, and we get them. And then you do something like the Kid President thing, and then people find you and they stay. And so the product becomes its own advertising. It's pretty cool. It's much slower and it's much newer, and no one really knows where it's going to go, but it's immediate, and that's what's really cool about it. We'll talk a little bit about another project I did, which was unbelievably slow, and it was a short film that I made with some friends of mine in Afghanistan, and this was very much old model filmmaking, and it took us 3.5 years to get it made, and it was an incredible crapshoot. My mum at one point said, "There's no possible earthly reason to still be doing this. I mean, the only reason it could have any value is if you got nominated for an Oscar or something." And unfortunately, we did for the short film, and it was a very. I came out of USC, out of film school, at the point where it seemed like that was the only model. You would try and get a film made, you would try and pitch, try and write a script, you would try and get a TV pitch together, you would do that, and then, you'd watch all your friends who had sort of graduated 2 or 3 years above you, sort of languish a little bit, not really, because you just get out of college, you're still trying to figure it out, before maybe 1 or 2 would hit, and that old model. And that short that I made was very much part of that. We came from that mentality. That was the world I came from. What's been amazing watching the Soul Pancake model is that that lag really has gone. the people that are making content on this channel, which is getting millions of views, millions of trackable views that will matter down the line, are straight out of college, sometimes still even in college. Some of the most successful ones. My mentality, like when I met the Soul Pancake guys, my mentality was very much old school, and part of me still is from that. I haven't ever made a web video that wasn't for these guys, it wasn't part of their system. Yeah, I'm sort of wondering how to tie this into Soul Pancake exactly right now. But so I mean, I'll talk a little bit. So I made this short film, which, should we show the trailer?
Yeah, that's right.
Show the trailer. I'll talk about how to tie it.
ما خا عندي خذ فكر كذب ما مثل غير يقول قارمش إذا كاستغير أمضانا نميت
Delle tazze che va sopra dei miei spandighetti ha? E stiamo lavando! Ti fresco sono andate stesse! روز خواهد دیدی که موکا کجا جی پیش کل مردم نامر بلند خواهد صدا کرد باز نام هم در تاریخ مسکشی خواهد زد
بابیم مایندر بود. آنگری یک کار بسیار پر افتخار است.
تو خیال پلاو میزنی خب چیزی که خوشم دوید دیگه میتونی شدی
Yeah, emotional opposite of Kid President. I remember how I was going to tie it in. So we made that, and we had a fascinating experience. We had a great run. It was old media, and it was the plan, and we got lucky, and we got to go to the Oscars and do all that. And then we had an offer from Vice magazine, Vice.com rather, not the magazine, the online thing, to put it on their website, which we couldn't take because it had been nominated. It was part of some sort of system where you have to go through this thing, and you can't do that. You basically can't put your film online for free once you do that, because people want to make money off of it on selling it on iTunes, that sort of thing. But what's fascinating is the short films that did go on that have now millions and millions of views. Whereas our film, even the success that it had going to the Oscars, has probably been seen by, I want to say 50,000 people, maybe? People that have been to Oscar screeners, people that have downloaded it from iTunes. You know, the metric for success is fascinatingly different. Like, I would personally, we had a big, long internal talk on the team that made that thing. When the Vice offer came up, we kind of wanted to take it. We kind of wanted to be like, we made this. We spent years and years of our life making this. It's a short film, we're not going to make any money off of it. Like, let's get it seen, let's get it be part of the discussion. And because it had been successful through this old system, literally it came down to a legal, you can't do that, otherwise you're in breach of your own contract. It was our fault, we signed it early, we were excited. We got nominated for an Oscar, give you some money, oh, here you go. Didn't read the contract properly, got in trouble. But, you know, that's that was the old way of doing it, and it was amazing. I wouldn't trade it for one of the greatest experiences of my life. But one thing that I think is fascinating is it is that final end round game for me showed me how different the world is. These shorts that are on the Vice.com short series, if you haven't seen them, I check them out. Some of them are amazing. And it was deeply flattered. I was as flattered to be asked to be part of that as I was to go to the Oscars, because it meant relevancy, and it meant millions of people. It meant thousands and thousands of comments. Like, that's a level of interaction with what you make that you don't get in the old system.
Yeah, definitely. So I think we have one more little clip that we're going to show you. I'm just going to show you a few minutes. This is actually a 7-minute video, so I'll show you guys a few minutes, talk about it a little bit, and just give you guys a little overview about the types of shows that we do have on our channel right now and the things that we look for, and then we'll open it up for questions.
Shut up.
What? Wait.
Oh, he's going to be so embarrassed.
What makes you happy? Having fun? Hanging out with friends? Delicious food? Making money? Well, consider this. Psychologists have scientifically proven that one of the greatest contributing factors to overall happiness in your life is how much gratitude you show. Yeah? Think about that. Go ahead and marinate on it for a second. You can thank me later if you want. It'll make you feel better according to this study. You go ahead and click on it and read it if you want. Or you can keep watching, because we read it and we thought it might be fun to test out for ourselves. We gathered a selection of volunteers to act as our subjects. First, we gave them a test. They didn't know what we were looking for, but it gave us a pretty good idea of their current level of happiness. We asked them to close their eyes and think of somebody who was really influential in their life, somebody who did something really amazing or important for them. We had them write down as much as they could about why this person was so important. Now, a lot of them thought at this point the experiment was over, until we really put them on the spot and tried to get them to call that person and read what they wrote about them. Thank you, Jessica. We're going to have you call your mother. So who is that right person for you?
Person is my sister, Erica.
We're going to give Erica a call.
Okay.
Who'd you end up picking?
Friend of mine, Craig Ains.
Her name is Dora.
My college accounting instructor.
Really? Mm-hmm. Is this somebody you're still in touch with today?
No, I'm assuming that he's passed on.
That's a shame.
To the great beyond.
You up for it?
Yes.
What would you say if we called up Dora?
Oh, well, we can try, but she lives in Britain.
In Britain?
I don't know number by heart, dude. This is awful.
That's fine. I don't know my mom's number by heart.
If it's true that those who are going on are looking down on us, maybe he read my chicken scratch.
Hey, sweetheart.
Hey, how you doing?
Yeah.
You got a second? Where you at, in the hotel?
I am. I'm in the hotel. You scared me when you asked if I had a second if something's wrong.
No, I'm on like this little TV show, and they told me to talk about the person that influenced me the most, and I picked you, and they're making me call you. They're making me call you.
Oh, wonderful!
Hi, you've reached Craig. I'm not here right now.
At the tone, please record your message.
Oh, come on.
Hello?
Hi.
Hi.
Erica, it's me.
All right, so I got to read you this paragraph. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can. Go ahead, sweetheart.
All right. The person that influenced me the most would be my mother, Marlo Dawson. She is a single mother of 2. She is a very hard worker and dedicated to her family.
I cut it off in the middle, but you can finish watching it later. It's a great video. So we posted that video in July. It was the pilot episode of a new series called The Science of Happiness. It's one of my favorite shows on our channel for a couple different reasons. One reason is that I think it kind of lives in this world where it's not really a narrative show, it's not really a documentary, it's not really a reality show, but it's kind of in this other format place that I think is really cool about YouTube in general. If you notice, there's some things in the beginning of this video that I actually think remind me a lot of Kid President, right? Someone's looking right at the audience and talking to them directly, which is key. All of our shows that we see that do really well are all personality-driven, host-formatted shows, and I think a lot of that has to do with the fact that there's so many videos on YouTube that when you open your computer, you really want someone talking to you. You want to feel like you're making that direct connection, and there's other ways to do it, but that is something that we found that works really well. We have a nicer title title sequence, right? There's no fancy pep talk title sequence really, so you can see we're kind of upgrading our production quality in whatever ways that we can. But and I think the other thing about this show is that the format, again, right? It's not really a documentary, it's not really a reality show, but it poses a question to the audience. What makes you happier? And it gives them a very tangible thing at the end of the video to take with them. If you're more grateful, you will be happier. Go say thank you to someone. And I love this show because going on and doing more episodes of the show, we looked at a lot of different experiments and ways that we can kind of get back to that same feeling of present people with a problem, ask a question about the problem, and then give them this one tangible thing that they can take away with them. It hasn't been as easy to do as with this episode, but the format is really there, and it's there because we can now build a consistent audience around that format of giving people something to take with them. The video's done really well. It's gotten like 2 million plus views, which is really good for us. And being able to see the reach that it has, I also think is amazing. Recently we were at YouTube EDU, which is a group of creators who are all working in the educational content at YouTube. And I got to meet high school teachers who are showing the video in their school and actually doing the experiment with their kids. We read comments all the time from people that are like, I just called my mom, I just called my grandma, I just, you know, it goes on, and people actually sent in videos to us of them doing the experiment, and then we made a video about that and then put that up on the channel, and it did really well. It's really cool to see because it's different, right? Like the way that we're engaging with our audience is different than what we've done before, but for me, being able to know that our audience is right there and they're sharing our content and they're responding and it's being used in schools, this is a show that no one knew about before. Julian is not a scientist, obviously, excuse me. And the fact that we can make something and look at the format and really understand what that format is and why it works well is, I think, kind of where we are right now at Soul Pancake that makes my job, makes me love my job so much. We can look at each little piece of a video and piece of a show that we make and ask these questions. Why is someone going to share it? How can we keep people, entertained? What can we do in the first 10 seconds of the video that hooks people? So those are, I could go on and on, but those are all the things that we look at in terms of our shows. And I think it takes it another level than just having beautiful footage and great production quality, because this show looks great, right? Like, it's a great looking show, and the creators have figured out how to do it for a really low budget because they all know how to use the tools like you guys do. There's nothing between them and a huge production team, but I think the difference is that they really are thinking critically about looking at their audience, giving them something to take away. Format, it's like format is everything, and I'm saying it constantly all day long, but I think it's an exciting thing because for me as a creator and as someone who wants to be creative, I like the idea of coming up with new formats that work online. People vlogging are making money on YouTube. They really are. Like, they're making a living. iJustine, some of these people, like, they're doing really, really well, and they're just opening up their computer and talking into the webcam. So people are doing it, and I think Soul Pancake is living in this world where we're continuing to create high quality content, and we're not just vlogging, but we're trying to figure out how to now do that and become sustainable, which is definitely tough, and it's an uphill battle, but if you can kind of have your audience and continue to work with them, it really helps, and holding on to the feeling of what you want to say to the world and what you want to do.
So we'll wrap it up by saying the best piece of advice I got in college was from a very, very grumpy 85-year-old directing teacher who said that it's a marathon, not a sprint. And when you see the other people rushing ahead, don't even worry about it. And nothing has been more true of the Soul Pancake experience. It is consistency, it is dedication, it is getting up every day and making another piece and doing another thing. And it has been an incredible fun ride that has changed like the world in which we live in, the sort of artistic community that we live in, which is probably, it's a lot of people that have been affected by this team's dedication and their commitment to making uplifting, interesting, well-produced content. It's changed a lot of lives in the people that make it, and has obviously spread a lot across the internet. So just keep making things. And don't let anybody tell you no.
Yeah.
And don't tell yourself no, because you should stop doing that as much as you can. Do you have any questions for us?
Yeah, questions? Anyone?
What does Ray Wilson do nowadays related to Soul Pancake? Does he get involved?
Yeah, he's very involved, definitely. He's not in the office full time, but when he's not shooting, he looks at all of our videos and does notes on all of our shows, and definitely.
Does he write for the website, or does he?
He does. I'm not sure. I think he participates in writing for the website, but he's not like a full-time writer for the website. Yeah.
What kind of strategies does Soul Pancake and also other YouTube bloggers or vloggers kind of pursue in terms of monetization?
Monetization, I think first the key is consistency. Like if you're posting frequently, you'll build your audience. And right now, everyone's really focusing on subscribers because although I think a lot of people still aren't subscribing to YouTube channels, like I know my parents, when I tell them to subscribe to Soul Pancake, they're like, what? I go there and I don't know. They have but people are focusing on subscribers because it's a way to build an audience that you can have that doesn't just depend on views. Monetization is happening through ads. It's getting better. I think keeping your production costs low, uploading consistently is what's key. A lot of the channels that I think that are making a lot of revenue on YouTube are figuring out ways to block shoot things. So spending one day shooting multiple episodes as opposed to doing 1 or 2 full production days per episode, which is still what we're doing, which definitely makes it a little bit more of a battle. And then brand integration has been really big on YouTube. So working with brands and sponsorships to create content with them definitely helps bring in added revenue. And there are a lot of brands that are starting to move into the digital space and spend more money there, which has been really nice to see. Yeah.
What kind of equipment do you use to shoot?
So we use a variety of equipment. A lot of our shows shoot on a 5D. Science of Happiness, I think, is shot on the C300 in addition to a 5D. We do find that sometimes shooting with 2 or 3 cameras actually helps in terms of your production day because you can, especially with narrative shows, right? You can get more coverage. And when we do things on the street and with real people, more cameras is better. And now that you can have GoPros and all of these things, it actually helps because you can shoot quicker and make sure that you don't miss a reaction by having more cameras.
Yeah, generally the more cameras the merrier. If on these, especially on the street things, some of them had as many as 7 or 8 cameras. But usually 3, I think. Mm-hmm.
And then audio, obviously having good audio is key. That's the number one thing. As whenever we see a video from anyone, if there's bad audio, it's just there's nothing we can do with it. So having a nice mic.
Yeah, never forget, sound is half the experience.
Yeah.
It takes a lot more effort to get the picture, but get good sound and then take it to somebody who knows what they're doing.
Yeah.
Can you elaborate more on the knowing what the audience would like to see or working with the audience?
Definitely, yeah.
On the marketing side of your YouTube channel, or how to market your channel?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. One thing I think that's cool about my job is that that probably isn't typical for most networks or any sort of model is that I'm the one that's helping develop the shows, but I'm also the one reading the comments, So I actually sit there and read the comments and remove the ones that are inappropriate and it's a part of my job, So when I go to a showrunner or someone and I'm really, this part is not good, I can actually say, no, seriously, someone told me that it was not good. I read the comment. You have to listen. So that's a big thing. We really try to just look at what they like and what they share. And it's cool because in YouTube analytics, you can basically see where your traffic sources are coming from. Upworthy's been huge for us. They posted our Zach Sobeck video, which then went viral. They posted this Science of Happiness video. So they definitely have an audience of people who, I think Upworthy basically hits this audience that isn't necessarily subscribing to YouTube channels, but likes positive content. So blogs are really, really big. Yeah.
One of the keys, he says, as well, is having a brand identity. Mm-hmm. As being bold enough to be narrow, being bold enough to say, this is who we are. Obviously, as a human being, we like multiple experiences, but as a content provider, we are upbeat, smart, well produced. Mm-hmm. That's what we do. There is to talk to the camera settings, there is a Soul Pancake look. There is a way no matter what camera you shoot on, there's a way it gets colored. There's a way that we treat everything, you probably can probably tell by looking at it, but like, you know, the highlights get warm, everything is saturated, the blacks are crushed. Like that was set early on, and things are pushed towards that. So it's not just in terms of the kind of content that is sought for the shows, which are always, you know, on the positive, uplifting side, but even the way that they're captured and displayed has a brand identity, which I think is an integral part of you know, reaching an audience and reassuring them. Definitely. Reassuring them that you are consistent, reassuring them that every time they go there, they will have an experience somewhat like the last one they had. Definitely. Hopefully better.
Yeah.
What's the budget for a typical Soul Pancake video, and how do you finance this?
So our budget, so we look at everything basically at a cost per minute. And so the cost per minute that we try to hit is usually around $500 a minute. So our shows do vary, like some shows are cheaper and some shows are more expensive. So for a 3-minute video at $500 a minute, you're looking at like $1,500, which is really low. Like I really wish that we could pay our, you know, when we do invest in outside showrunners, I always wish that we could pay them more. So sustainability, you know, originally it came from an investment from YouTube, and now we're basically broadening our company in a lot of different ways so we can help keep our YouTube channel alive and work towards being sustainable on just our YouTube channel, which a lot I think will happen for us with brand integration and things like that we're starting to try to do more of in order to keep producing as much content as we are. Good question. They usually want something. They always want something. It's all about, and right now a big thing that we're trying to figure out is like how much do we give them? You know, it's a verbal mention of something. I mean, brand integration would be more like putting a product into, or putting, really like speaking about a campaign in a video, would be kind of integrating it into the video. YouTube, like basically advertisers could come and buy out the advertising on Soul Pancake's channel. They could buy TrueView ads in the auction. That's not as much, we do see that, but when we're working with a brand directly, it's usually in terms of integration. And they're usually pretty big campaigns, like someone will come to us and they'll want like 1 or 3 videos done that all kind of work around a brand. We're not really doing anything that's like, oh, you know, Arrowhead water is gonna give you a lot of water. We haven't really done—
The secret of happiness is Arrowhead water.
We haven't really done too much of that yet. It's definitely a fine line too, because I think it's something that we're realizing we have to do in the online space, but we care so much about our content and our audience, and it's definitely a fine line for us, figuring out what makes sense, like what brands do we want to work with. But YouTube has been really great in helping us kind of navigate the waters.
And again, to turn it back to the rewards of consistency in our work, like as Georgia says, it's the YouTube channel that's given access to all these other things, commercials, TV, all these other platforms that now may end up for a time supporting the YouTube channel. Yeah. Like it's if there's anything that I think is true about the modern creative workplace, you've got to be flexible and you've got to be able to adapt. Like we make TV shows, we make commercials, we make music videos, we make we make all of them, and because you never know which one is. You never know which one is going to be the big hit. Yeah. To answer yours, how to know? Yeah. You don't.
Yeah, Kid President just did a Meineke commercial that was on TV, so that was great. It wasn't something that was on our YouTube channel. It had nothing to do with that, and it was actually a lot easier, I think, to do the Meineke commercial than it would have been to integrate a brand to then integrate Meineke into our YouTube content. Because I think on YouTube you have comments of people being like, "What is this?" Like, what, so definitely.
Yes, it does. There's an interesting thing just about digital space in general is the sort of semi-hypocrisy of that. If you try and sneak it in, people get really upset. But if you're just like, here it is, this is this is my sellout moment, everyone's like, oh, well done. Yeah.
Do you guys have like private investors, and does that help a lot with making money?
We don't have private investors. No, it's not something. Yeah, it's just something that the team hasn't decided to do. Soul Pancake as a company was started in 2005 as a website. We became like an original premium partner on YouTube a little over a year ago. So that was when we got our first round of YouTube funding to do the partnership that way.
So my question was, since you did that,
Yeah.
how prior to the video content, how did you engage with customers in a like inspirational, motivational, creative way without having audio visuals to like go hand in hand with that message?
I mean, I think the book's a really great example, which we're actually selling upstairs if anyone wants to grab a copy. Yeah, you just throw that in there. Yeah, the book's a really good example. I mean, I think it's a lot harder. You know, it was a lot harder. I didn't know what Soul Pancake was when it was a website. You know, I probably would have loved to use the website. It's just a lot harder to find things that way. But I think early on with the website, a lot of it was just the team itself also really participating in the content. And when you work with a group of people who really want to be making what they're making and believe in, you know, everyone who works at Soul Pancake really does like to talk about life's big questions, which is nice, and just focusing on kind of what we wanted to do and the message that we wanted to share. But we definitely hit our stride, I think, when we started making video content.
It would take one more question. Anyone?
What is the vision for Soul Pancake? The vision?
The vision?
Yeah.
What do you mean in terms of?
Like, you keep emphasizing on that Soul Pancake is more about the emotion to generate.
Yeah, absolutely.
The emotion of the audience.
I always like to.
This channel is going to live on a long time. What is the vision? What you want it to be in the future?
I hope that, especially for our YouTube channel, and I think for the company, I mean, we really try to ask a lot of questions to our audience, but not necessarily answer them. So if we can continue to make content that is thought-provoking and engages our audience in a way to kind of have them think critically and have these really long discussions with each other, then I think we'll have succeeded. And I think, you know, spreading positivity and kind of trying to make the world a better place definitely goes along with that.
Hippie utopia. That's the bad version.
Well, why don't we give a big round of applause to Soul Pancake, Georgia, and Martin. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much for having us.
We love the wonderful insight, obviously, into 21st century digital media. It's such an important component for us, and obviously ties into the school's 21st century digital media literacy efforts. And so this is all part of our same umbrella. So we thank you for the insights.
Cool.
Yeah, I can't recommend enough. The more programs, the more skills you have, the more adaptive you can be, the quicker you will advance. It is what I've seen every day.
I'm sure you'll be around for a little while in case someone has any questions.
Thank you, guys.
And before we take off, we've got a couple things. We wanted to thank our Adobe partners, and some of whom flew out here for a distance. So thank you all. This has been a very long journey, last year and a half of trying to get to this point, and so we're very happy about where we're at, and thank you for all the partnership efforts to date. I want to thank our technical staff in the back. Good job, guys. And thank our public affairs and facilities team, and especially Gio, who came up with the idea of pancakes for Soul Pancake. Hope you enjoyed the pancakes. We have one last thing to do, and that's giveaways. And it's fantastic since there's really not a lot of our students here right now, so we're going to have, I think there'll be more winners for giveaways. Gio is going to do the honors.
All right, the first thing is easy. Look under the little table on your chair, and there's a little sticker, and at least one of you should win, and it says, "I've got soul" under it. So it should be the sticker you're wearing. All right, right here in the black jacket. Anybody else? All right, part of tonight was to be brave, right? To be brave and to create. So we want to award the people that ask questions. So the first 3 people that asked questions, I think it was the guy in the back in the black beanie, and there's a young man here in the blue shirt. He was the second question. And there's a young lady right here in the blue shirt. And then right here in the front row with a gray scarf. So you guys were the first 4 to ask questions. So we have bags for you. They're giveaways from Adobe and from Annenberg. And we hope that tonight you guys got your own pep talk and you go out and you be creative. So thank you guys for coming.